Have you ever seen someone else's art, and thought, this seems too good to be true? Or someone who you know is a beginner artist went from making something like this to something like this, overnight? This video, I'll be giving examples to help tell real and self-made art from, traced, stolen, and what has been the talk of the town in the art community in recent months. AI art. I must also perform my regular YouTuber duties as well, and as I now have the statistic for it, I will show you my subscribed versus not subscribed viewer ratio. Subscribing is free, you can turn your notifications off and unsubscribe anytime you feel like it. Even one single sub would make my day. But enough self-promotion, here's the video. First of all, this is the artwork made by me which I will be using for examples. To make sure no one takes credit for your artworks, you should have a watermark, however you should also think about where you place it. Placing it here makes it easy to erase out because it's on a flat color. While placing it like this makes it difficult to see the art, you should prioritize putting the watermark a place on it where there's multiple colors grouped together, that way it can't be erased as easy. Referencing is when you look at a different piece of art and attempt to recreate it or parts of it without tracing it. You can find out if something is referenced if you overlay the drawings. Here you can see that the anatomy doesn't line up at all no matter where you put it, so it is referenced and not traced. Here is a sketch of my drawing. Even before I put the original on top of it, you could already tell it wasn't traced beforehand. These were examples of references, and that brings us to tracing. Tracing is the act of putting another piece of art underneath a blank canvas, and tracing the entire or pieces of it. Here I've traced my own art, and from a distance it just looks like line art, but when you zoom in, it looks a little off. The reason for this is because trying to draw small lines with big brushes doesn't work well and usually results in something like this. Not to mention it is dull-edged, a fade or sharp end is recommended. Here I've colored in the traced line art, and you can see that it doesn't look very good. I tried to make it resemble what it usually looks like when beginner artists, usually kids, try to trace and color artwork that isn't theirs. First of all, it is colored in the same layer as the line art. Not knowing to use layers is common for beginners in digital art. The colors are very off, and the smudge tool has been used to create shadows. It's very rare to find beginners like these. I made another one, a tier above the last. In this one, the tracer knows how to use layers, but it's still easy to see that the coloring and line art are not very balanced in skill. They've discovered the airbrush, and when I discovered it as a beginner, I ended up using it for everything. It has the same problems as the last, but also some more. It is unclear where the light source is from due to shading all around it, and the contrasts aren't very strong. And the use of black to create shadows usually makes the character look dirty, or if used on skin, sick. It is advised to make shadows from the environment around instead. Here is another one I made with the line art. The difference is that the tracer has only traced parts of the artwork to create the rest by themselves. Anatomy is off, and that is due to the lack of awareness to the anatomy of the original. I won't say that my original was perfect at anatomy in hindsight, but first off, a common mistake I see when beginners trace is that the head is too small, and that the lines don't curve the way they should. Tracing is most often done by beginners, but don't rule out the experienced either. When you look at this, you can see that the coloring is very good and in line with the line art skill. Shadows are affected by the environment, the background makes a good contrast with the rest of the character, there is a clear light source, and the shadows and lighting frame the face as the center of attention. Understanding when experienced artists have stolen part of others' work is difficult, but keep an eye out for art pieces that look extraordinarily identical. As I've gone over, you shouldn't shade skin with black, however it's a mistake I've noticed happen mostly on dark skin. If I color drop her skin, you can see it is this exact color. When drawing, skin color dropping is recommended unless the character is under heavy environmental shade. But I've noticed that sometimes, people choose a grayish version of the original color when drawing black people. This results in an ashy color which can make the skin look lighter than intended. That's why, if you're drawing natural skin, you should first pick from this color group, then for dark skin this area, and for light or tanned skin this area. And when shading dark skin, you should note that some things don't work the same on light skin and vice versa on digital canvases. Here I've used a default blush color, but why does it look off? I tried it on lighter skin, and it looks more natural, but why does that happen? To understand that, we need to understand values. Here I've put the two skin tones next to each other, and airbrushed the middle with the blush. But if I make it black and white, now we see what the problem is. On the light side, the blush is darker than the skin tone, which is what accurate blush looks like. But on the dark side, the blush color's value is lighter than the skin tone. The way digital colors work is that they are always equal in pigmentation, making it so a color that actually works on all skin tones ends up not working. But how do we fix the blush problem? Easy answer is to just choose a darker and more reddish color. Now it looks much better. I feel like we've all seen AI art going around, but here comes the question, when can we tell that art is AI generated? One thing that most AI art generators struggle with is abnormal inconsistencies. AI art usually kinda forgets what it's working on sometimes, and might forget what fingers look like or add an extra arm. These are considered abnormal inconsistencies because it is a mistake that's impossible for a human to make. I decided to try some AI art generators to see what I would get. Of course, I don't want to risk feeding it my own art, so I just made this terrifying blob of colors. I can't tell if it's more ugly or scary. Either way, I put it through a few different AI generators and here are the results. With the first one it just looks your typical AI weird. Like, what is all of this? The next one looks a little better but misunderstood a little and made the eyes blue. What is even going on with her eyes in this one? That is just ugly. She's merged with a dog now? And why is her ear fluff shedding? But yeah, the best way to tell that something is AI generated is that it has immaculate shading and line art, but makes weird mistakes like this. Also, as a little bonus, I tested an AI generator based on prompts. Here they are. So here's the first description, and here's the first image. Looks kinda good. Let's see the next one. Well, I don't think I need to say anything here. Alright then, next one. I think it knows who she is, but I see no DS. Same with this, but I don't even understand what's going on. The AI has to know what to do with this. How can you mess up this bad? I even put a comma. This time it's Sailor Moon. The hands are messed up again, but why does it not care for the rest of the sentence? Let's try more obscure characters this time. Yeah, this kinda went as expected. She doesn't look like either of them and she seems to have done some mutating instead of being on the computer. Same problems as the last except she's on a computer again. I specified what game she is from, so this time it shouldn't be a problem. Well then, I guess it kinda understood? Maybe? I mean, it's far off, but it got the animal ears right. This one got the pink hair right, but nothing else other than the forest. I was thinking I'd try something in between obscure and unknown, so I wanted to try Lynn, and since she has official swimwear artwork I wanted to see if it'd try to recreate that. Here you got the classic distorted hand, it got the hair color right, but this doesn't look like Lynn. This one is really weird to me. It got the hairstyle and color right, but again it doesn't look like Lynn. However, notice the bangs and the pointy ears. It looks like a different Fire Emblem character, Tiki. I thought this was strange, because why would it choose Tiki instead of Lynn? Are they just too similar for the AI to tell them apart? Either way, to conclude my points about AI, to spot AI artwork, you're going to want to look for mistakes that physically cannot be made by a human. As an example, there is no way you can shade hair this beautifully if the hands look like this. That's it for the video. Subscribe and comment if you'd like to see more videos like this. I have plans to play games suggested by you guys, maybe do a FNAF World Nuzlocke Part 2, and do a Nuzlocke of a different game, which I hope you'll find as interesting as I do. Thanks for 20 subs, and I appreciate your support. See you guys next time.